and being sensed correctly.
Exactly. Currently T minus 7 minutes, 12 seconds and counting. We're approaching the conclusion of prop load here. This is just a replay of booster catch from previous launch. Just want to note one of the things that was mentioned by SpaceX commentators, that they are still working the issue related to the previously mentioned hold, but they did note that they're confident that it'll be cleared before the
Okay. Okay, I decided to record this launch of the space logs. Okay, we're just gonna try to record this SpaceX launch of Starship 8. I don't know what audio is being recorded right now. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm just okay, just trying to record the SpaceX launch of Starship 8. Um,
Not quite as bad as it was during SN15's flight, but kind of gives off those vibes.
no matter what, I can't mute them, at least in my ears.
from SpaceX's perspective, obviously the data from the flight is the most important part of all this.
Oh, they finally quieted down for a few minutes. Okay, just
Now
watching.
T minus 4 minutes, 41 seconds and counting. We're closing in on the final minutes before liftoff. Our next milestone here coming up at about T minus 3 minutes and 20 seconds, just about a minute away from the conclusion of ship prop load.
Okay, we'll just see how long this thing lasts before boot.
Nathan, Zach, and I have had a chance to talk about this a little bit earlier, but you know, top level, what's your main focus on this mission? What are you mostly watching for with this flight?
Definitely Ship 34's performance in regards to reentry, because they are getting so aggressive, and I understand why. They want to really see how far they can push the ship, and especially in getting ready to possibly catch the next ship. So just seeing how that does, curious, and we may not even get to see how the tiles around the two little catching points, how they do. So that's kind of the area that I'm curious about. It's neat to see the booster catch. I know everybody enjoys that, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it seems like they kind of have that down pretty well. And so really seeing how the ship does.
Yeah, of course, once it gets down to it, they'll make the call in real time on whether or not they're going to try for a third catch of the super heavy booster. Now approaching 3 minutes and counting. At this point, the ship box load should be, or ship prop load all the way should be done. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, it looks like they're about 97 and 98% respectively on liquid methane and liquid oxygen.
The liquid methane is just to make pressure in the tank. Liquid oxygen is used to help burn the fuel. I don't know if it's hydrogen or methane in a SpaceX Yeah, I'm not really up on a lot of launch vehicles, but it's an it's an oxidizer. You need it to create the thrust. Okay, I'm just trying this out. I was about to stream, but I don't think I'm quite set up for streaming yet. But through OBS, but no, this is more about the
Now less than 2
engineering
minutes planned liftoff.
than it is about the owner. And I'm not going to mention the owner's name. I think he gets enough attention as it is.
Just a quick point for those watching right now. You'll note that the countdown clock on the top center of your screen, a little bit ahead of what's coming in through the SpaceX feed. That's because our clock is in real time. What's coming through SpaceX is on a slight delay. So when we get right down to it, we'll make our callouts based off of real-time events as long as we have tracking visibility on the ground here. And then once we're relying on the SpaceX onboard cameras, we'll make our calls based off of the SpaceX timeline of things. Now 1 minute and counting.
Now
What we're watching for is the T-minus 40-minute mark on the SpaceX feed, though, right now. And that'll determine if SpaceX needs to hold here. Less than 40 seconds in real time. SpaceX commentator Dan Hote notes they are going to hold at T-minus 40 seconds. So once they hit that mark, the clock will stop.
Okay. Hopefully nothing serious is wrong.
We will stand by for additional updates on when the clock will start to move. They are still troubleshooting whatever issue they announced may cause a hold at this point. Well, that has come to pass.
It is good to have private industry building these rockets and testing rockets to have backups to the government's rockets. But the American taxpayer does pay a lot towards the private companies as well. And right now there's 2 private craft in space. There's Blue Ghost on the surface of the moon, and there's the Artemis. Not Artemis. Athena module headed to the moon to do testing. And of course, there's Canadian components on both craft. Canada does a lot of cooperative work with the United States and NASA.
Just a quick note for those who may be jumping into the live stream either on Lab Padre or Spaceflight Now. The reason you're not seeing a launch currently in progress is because
Somebody cut off his feed?
the SpaceX team is troubleshooting an issue. Sounds like they do have a solution that'll be put into place, and they should be able to pick up the count here momentarily. Standing by for further.
And a lot of these SpaceX missions right now are just to test whether or not the vehicle can fly. So they are expecting something to happen to it. I think they're supposed to land in the Indian Ocean if they're like any other of the launches.
SpaceX commentator Kate Tice noted earlier in the broadcast that they do have the ability to hold for several minutes here at this point at T-minus 40 seconds. So they do have some wiggle room here, unlike a Falcon 9 launch. Again, we are standing by as SpaceX engineers work to clear an issue that came up about 15 plus minutes or so ago, is around the time, I believe, when they first announced that there may be a hold-worthy issue that they didn't go into specificity on, but is caused SpaceX to be in this unplanned hold now for a little more than a minute.
Hopefully there's no leak on board. If there's a leak, you don't want to ignite anything. That could be a very big uncontrolled boom. So I guess we're going to wait here until either they're cleared for launch or they're not going to launch at all. Plus, tonight there is that planetary alignment. I just checked. Mercury's really close to the horizon for me, so I can't see it. But Venus is out there, and so is Jupiter and Mars and the Moon. And the
All right, if you're just tuning in, we are still holding at this T-minus 40-second gate. We cleared an issue on the booster that we were working up until the hold, still working one on ship, and team still continuing to discuss in the background. We can still hold here for several more minutes. If we're not able to resolve the issue or find a workaround, then we would have to essentially scrub and stand down for the day. If that does happen, we can go as early as tomorrow, but that clearly depends on what work we might need to do to fix any issues. So just obviously stay tuned. But right now, we're a little over 5 minutes into this hold today. We've got a couple more minutes that we can hold at T-minus 40 before we have to kick out. Essentially, looking at a lot of those propellant temperatures on both vehicles, you want those to stay in pretty specific ranges for engine startup and things like that. That's what generally drives how long we can hold at T-minus 40. So still hanging out. As soon as we hear an update on the ship, we will let you know.
The thing is, the gas is compressed into a liquid form, and it can warm up to a gaseous form. I guess I don't know the exact. I'm not the rocket scientist, but I guess if it gets too warm or too cold,
Starting to sound like we might have a decision real soon.
That additional commentary you're hearing is from SpaceX's Dan Hope.
All right, you see the clock rolling.
Okay,
It is time to go for launch.
The last one didn't last too long. So
30 seconds to go.
Oops, we went back to 41.
And we just heard a hold. So we kicked. Psych. No. So we did kick out back to the T-minus 40 hold.
It's nowhere near as bad, but this reminds me of the Blue Origin launch or the Blue Origin testing where they constantly had to push back the timer.
Yep, adding 20 minutes and then another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't think SpaceX has either.
All right, so as we started counting back down, we did trip a few more holds automatically from the booster itself. So we are now going to hang out here again at T-minus 40. They've got a couple more troubleshooting steps that they can take. If we're able to get through that, we can start counting down again. If not, we could always offload and try again on either tomorrow or another day. But right now, we're not done for the day yet. Still holding at T-minus 40 seconds. And as soon as we hear some more or start seeing that clock move, you will know if we're going to go for our launch attempt today or if we just try it again another day. So keep listening in, and we'll have an update shortly.
Good view of Cape Canaveral.
Go.
All right, and we did just hear the call. We are going to offload for today, so we had a
Okay,
couple of
it's
holds
been
trip as
scratched.
we started counting down from T-minus 40 again, and it's not something we can change with small config tweaks, so we are going to offload our prop and then try again another day. So we're able to fully tank the vehicle. We're unable to lift off today, but just because we don't go today
is a
doesn't mean we're
scrub.
not going to go tomorrow or one of the days coming up. So we are going to start offloading all of that propellant on the booster and the ship. As we talked a little bit earlier, we can go as soon as 24 hours later. We won't know that for sure until we dig into everything that kicked us out of our attempt today. So obviously just keep an eye on all of our updates.
Okay, I guess that's it for today.
We are expecting could be about 24 hours, but we will definitely let people know.
Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Well, have a good night, everybody. Bye.
And as you've just been hearing, unfortunately, there will be no launch today. SpaceX has officially scrubbed